Good morning, students. Welcome to the class on atmosphere. Go through the slides and after that through the PDF and also the lecture. In the previous classes, you have studied about lithosphere and hydrosphere. Now we have to study about atmosphere. So, we breathe oxygen present in the air and living beings cannot live with it. When we breathe out, we give out carbon dioxide. Apart from giving oxygen to us, atmosphere also make life possible for us in many other ways. So it prevents harmful rays from the sun reaching us. Green plants take carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and with the help of sunlight and water through photosynthesis we get delicious fruits, vegetables, grains, etc. So to give us proteins, carbohydrates, sugars, fats, minerals and other nutrients that we need to live, we get it from the atmosphere. So the atmospheric winds that transport water from the ocean and continents in the form of rain. So without this, the different types of rocks would not erode. This means that different kinds of soils would not be available. So we would not be able to grow different kinds of crops. So the cooling monsoon, the scent of fragrant flowers, the sound of music, all this will be absent if there is no atmosphere. We cannot even fly a beautiful kite, or we cannot use the beauty of the wind. Even birds cannot fly in the air and our flags will not flutter. So this is a very beautiful situation, the atmosphere. So you can see a picture there, a picture of Earth taken from about 322 kilometers above the Earth. The atmosphere is that thin blue band between Earth and the black color of the space. So it's an area of gases surrounding the Earth. In a sense, we are all swimming in the sea of gases. That is, as fishes swim in the ocean, in the water, we swim in the gases. Comparing the size of the Earth, atmosphere is very thin blanket that surrounds the Earth. It is almost 1000 kilometers thick. So the NASA, that is National Aeronautics and Space Administration of USA, gives this description. If Earth was the size of a basketball, the atmosphere would be like a thin sheet of plastic wrapped around it. If it is so, there is a question that is asked, what will happen if water vapor is not present in the air? What happens? Will not be able to use the air that is there. It will be so dry. So being composed of gases, the atmosphere exhibits all properties of the gases. It compresses, it expands, and it has no shapes. So gas can be stuffed more and more into a small space like you do it in your cycle tube. This is called a compression of gas. So I think you understood. As we are using an air pump to fill the cycle tube or a motorcycle tire, same way the gas can be compressed. There are many gases in the atmosphere, but as we know, there are 21% of oxygen, 78% of nitrogen, and very small amount of argon, neon, carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia, and ozone, etc. Ozone means oxygen only, O3. As you are studying in chemistry, you can see that. And about 0.4% of water vapor is also present in the atmosphere. Then it is within 6 kilometers above the earth. So water vapor is also a gas. But the clouds that you see in the sky are not water vapor. They are water droplets. Apart from these gases, the atmosphere also has fine dust particles. These are called particulates. Particulates may come from natural process, for example, sandstorms over the deserts and natural forest fires, and from human activity, that is burning of forests, burning of petroleum, industrial emissions. All these will be emitting smoke, which will become the particulates of the atmosphere. These particulates can change the atmospheric condition that may be beneficial for life on earth. Have you ever seen a beautiful bright orange sunrise or sunset? I'll add some of the pictures into this video. Now we have to see the structure of this atmosphere. So it is arranged in layers having different compositions. How can you imagine these layers of atmosphere? It's not very easy to understand, but largely we have two divisions, two broad layers. One is known as homosphere and the second one is known as heterosphere. Homosphere extends up to a height of 90 kilometers. It consists of three layers known as troposphere, stratosphere, and mesosphere. It's characterized by uniformity of composition of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and carbon dioxide. So what is heterosphere? The layer is about 90 kilometers above the homosphere and is called heterosphere. It has heterogeneous composition and hence the name heterosphere. It has two layers called thermosphere and exosphere. We will see the details afterwards. Atmosphere can also be divided into various layers based on density and temperature. So you can see down there, starting from sea level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 100, like 1000 even. So in that you can see sea level is considered as 0, then troposphere is somewhere around 10 kilometers, then stratosphere is about 50, mesosphere is somewhere around 80 kilometers, then thermosphere is about 400 kilometers above, and exosphere is 1000 kilometers above the surface of the earth. So what all things will be present there, that is also mentioned there. And the ozone layer somewhere around you can see stratosphere. So before that the meteors enters into the the atmosphere. We can see it. So what is troposphere? That is the lowermost layer of the atmosphere. The height is about 13 kilometers to from 8 kilometers near the poles and 18 kilometers near the equator. Thickness of the troposphere is greatest at the equator because heat is transported to greater heights by strong convectional currents, greater sinking of air near the poles. It contains about 75% of the total gases mass of the atmosphere and particularly all the moisture and the dust particle. The entire weather phenomenon happens in this sphere. So this is known as normal lapse rate, NLR, normal lapse rate. So it is having condensation, evaporation, precipitation, rainfall, cyclones, all this happens in this particular troposphere. You can see troposphere. The second one is stratosphere. This layer extends up to 50 kilometers. It is almost free from clouds and associated with weather phenomenon, making conditions most ideal for flying the jet aircrafts. So you can see the jet aircrafts will be flying in this stratosphere. So it contains also the ozone layer, already I have mentioned, about 50 kilometers above. The temperature increases as there is increase in the altitude. And the third one is mesosphere. It extends up to a height of 80 kilometers. And I told you when we saw the picture, meteorites burn up as they enter into this layer from the space. Temperature starts decreasing with the increase of this altitude. Now the fourth one is thermosphere. It extends up to 400 kilometers. In thermosphere, the temperature rises rapidly with increases in height. It contains electrically charged particles known as ions. So, radio waves transmitted from the earth are reflected back to the earth by these ions. So, it is known as ionosphere also. Thermosphere is known as ionosphere also. It's about 400 kilometers above. The electoral radio waves, which is transmitted from the earth, moves up to ionosphere and comes back. That's the reason why we are able to hear, receive the radiosphere, radio waves. The fifth one is known as exosphere. It is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere. This is the highest layer and very little we know about it. Already we have read what is there in our textbook, and atmosphere is very important for us because this is the area where life exists on the face of the earth. So whatever the living beings are living with because of the oxygen that is present over the earth. The living things breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is used by the plants and they create through the process of photosynthesis, they create delicious food for us. Delicious fruits, sugars, vegetables, grains, etc. are created or made by the plants. Then, because of the atmosphere that we are able to fly up in the sky. Same way, we are having some special nature or structure for the atmosphere, and broadly we have seen that it is the homosphere and also the heterosphere. And the homosphere, 3 layers are there, and that is troposphere, stratosphere and also mesosphere. And what do you mean by troposphere? Troposphere is the lowermost layer where the thickness of the troposphere is lesser in the polar regions and higher in the equator region. That is about 18 kilometers. So then now we come to the next one is stratosphere. This is the area where the aeroplanes are able to fly. Then we have the mesosphere. There the temperature is decreasing as the altitude or height increases. Then the fourth one is that of ionosphere or thermosphere, which is transmitting the the radio waves. So these are the four layers that are very much important